All right, we are here with the one main piece that people don't talk about a lot in the Trey Mancini trade. Yes, the Astros don't just go out and get that throw-in piece. That throw-in player typically becomes a big name, and that's who we got. We have on today's Locked On Astros podcast, Jayden Murray. He was with the Rays, and I think the Rays lost a great pitcher, and we're going to be talking to him about his journey through the minor leagues to Houston on this Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and Instagram, and at Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Alrighty, and we have one of the newest Astros prospects out there, somebody that the Astros acquired at the trade deadline. He's not just another face; he's going to have a great future with Houston Astros. Jayden Murray, where can they find you on Twitter?
Score Murray 08 on Twitter and Instagram, I believe. So,
all right,
that right?
Yeah. I haven't checked your Instagram, but I'm sure you know that better than I would. So, but definitely, yeah. So thank you guys for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Keep on subscribing to us. Give us a like and listen to us on your way home from work, on your way to work, even at work on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Keep on checking out the Locked On Astros podcast. So, Jayden, you were drafted by the Rays. I'm sorry for that, by the way, but I'm sure they're a good organization. But you're drafted by the Rays in the 23rd round of the 2019 draft. What was it like to be drafted, and who was the first person you told when you found out that you were drafted?
I mean, it was my family. We were all working, and me and my dad just happened to be home at the same time during lunch break. He had called me and said, "Hey, we might pick you up in the 23rd round," and I was okay. I was for it. He ended up picking me up in the 23rd round, and me and my dad were there, so that was good to experience that with him. Called my mom. First call that I actually got was from my uncle, listening to it live in his truck while he was at work, and he just called me and congratulated me. It was a surreal moment for sure. So.
Yeah, so being drafted by the Rays, was this an organization that you were glad that they picked you up? I mean, gosh, you're getting to live your dream. You're getting picked by a major league team. So I'm sure players aren't saying, well, this team or that team, but the Rays have a pretty good reputation for developing players. So they had to at least be promising that a ball club with the pedigree it's had, especially in recent memory, picked you up and wanted to invest in you.
Yeah, I mean, I knew they had a great player development program, and I knew they were up there in minor league development. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really get to talk to him a whole lot before the draft race, but I mean, I was very happy for the opportunity with those guys, and I was the organization.
All right, so yeah, definitely the Rays are very good at developing pitchers, but so is the Astros. The Astros are pretty good at it too. So, before, were you surprised when you heard that you were traded to the Astros in the Mancini trade?
Yes, it was definitely a big surprise. I was not expecting that. I was in our apartment, and I got a phone call at like 3 in the afternoon, and they said you'd been traded to the Astros. We just said our goodbyes, and then I packed and hit the road the next morning. But yeah, it did.
Go ahead, Eric.
I know it's still early. I think you've only made 2 starts with the Hooks, as a Astros prospect, but, you've been with the Rays your entire, professional, or lifetime, but what's your thoughts of the Astros organization? Is there anything that they do differently than the Rays did, or is it pretty similar?
I'd say it's pretty similar. Both teams are big into pitch development and seeing how everything works. So I'd say there's between the two teams. So it's not really a huge change. There's a couple things that the Astros do a little bit different. Nothing too big that isn't understandable. So.
No, yeah, and with all the minor leaguers that we've talked to, guys that have moved up, Jonathan Sprinkle, Jimmy Endersby, guys that are there right now, Jordan Brewer, Alex McKenna. We've interviewed them. We've talked to Barry Hill. We've talked to several guys on the Hooks team, and the consistent message that I get is that the Houston Astros hand you a wealth of information, and they hand you so much stuff, but they don't expect you to like study it, regurgitate it all. They're like, take this, let's see what works and gets you at an optimal place, and then we'll go from there. And the way it's been described to me, it's almost like when you hear about the NFL and they have these real difficult offenses, and they talk about how some coaches' offenses are so hard to get down that like most players can't even handle it. And what I'd love to hear, and I would like to hear your experience, has that been the same experience you've had where like you've gotten a wealth of information, but they try to give it to you in a way where you can, it's like you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time type of approach?
Yeah, I would say a bunch of information at one time, but I mean it's not too overwhelming. It's based off of your own stuff is what the numbers are showing. So like it's always going to benefit you really. So I mean it's not too hard to understand. Yes, it is a lot, and it's going to take learn all of this, but I'd say it's not too overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah, so the Astros don't they typically target a specific type of pitcher when they go out there, especially a young pitcher like yourself. So you weren't just a throw-in player; they are somebody that they probably targeted. How would you describe yourself as a pitcher?
Um, I throw 4 pitches, 5 pitches, makes any counts really. Just not a big guy that likes to walk a lot of people. Save the pitch count. Really, that's my main goal is going into the game. Just kind of try and stay go as long as I can in the game with a low pitch count and give up as few as I can.
Definitely, that sounds like somebody has starters aspirations for the big leagues. I know you were with AAA with the Rays. Now you're back with AA, but I think with the Astros farm system, AA is almost AAA with most farm systems because they have a lot of great starters at AAA right now. So, where do you see yourself kind of fitting in once you reach the big leagues?
I've definitely been started my whole life. Very, very comfortable with the starting, but I mean, ideally, it's whatever's going to get you there and stay there. I'm just the opportunity is what you want.
I remember talking to Pete Solomon, and he told me that if it means me not being a starter whenever I make it, and we were talking in one of his interviews, and me being a relief pitcher, he said, I'd rather be a relief pitcher in the big leagues than a starter in minor leagues. So he said, obviously, when you get the call, you want to make it any way you can. Now you have your preference, but sometimes your preference doesn't work out, and sometimes that works out for better, for you better in the long run. And since we're talking about this, and we're talking about the odds of making it to the major leagues and what your goals are, I've got to let our listeners know and remind them about Bet Online. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events, and the number one online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports-related information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They have you covered. Head to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Okay, so let me get this back up. So I know that you've already talked about what pitches you throw, so I'm not going to ask you that. But the Little League World Series is going on right now, and I know Pearland is about to play tonight. We're all supporting the local team, but do you have any memorable Little League moments?
Big when I was little. I mean, all my buddies come from a small town, really small town. I mean, we all went to the same high school. We were very competitive, do really good. And one of my favorite moments was when we took 2012, I believe it was. But it was a good time. I mean, but growing up through there, I mean, we all played against all our coaches, so we always played against our best friends, and we always went up there and we wanted to either strike each other every time, and just how that went back and forth and stuff like that. I mean, we still talk about it every day. And hey, we'll just say, hey, do you remember that game where I hit that ball over on you and stuff like that? It's just like, never forget, with your best friends.
Yeah, and I love hearing that. I think it's neat, especially for young players that may watch our interviews or listen in. To hear that you can have those conversations and one day be pursuing, the game on the biggest stage in the world. So, who would you say was your favorite player growing up? Was it a pitcher? Was it a position player?
I can't say. I watched about everybody. I try to watch every pick up their strengths, their weaknesses, what they did good, what they did bad. I didn't really have a complete favorite. If I would have to say, probably one would probably have to be Verlander. So I did watch him a lot. My dad always came with my mechanics and everything, and so I kind of watched him a little more. So I could say he's probably that I watched more than anybody.
Okay, that's awesome. Justin Verlander is a good kind of role model. Jayden, I'm gonna ask if you go back out and come back in for a second. Your audio is getting kind of spotty, but I'm gonna talk about your stats so far this season while you do that. I'm gonna go and if you can go and exit and come back in. And we'll try that real quick. But Jayden Murray so far this year, he's having a great season. The Astros traded for him, and when he was with the Rays, or between both teams, he's 8-3 with a 3.11 ERA. He has 89 innings. He has 83 strikeouts. He has a 1.8182 ERA. WHIP. And he just looks like he's probably a starter of the future. And so it's good that the Astros went out and got him. And from what I understand, you have a pretty good spin rate on your pitches.
Yep.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, when I say the Astros go out and target pitchers, spin rate is something that they typically go out and look for. So that's something that they do look at. So far with the Hooks, in 9 innings, you have you basically have a 2 ERA with 10 strikeouts in those 9 innings. So far, what's it like playing in Texas League?
It's been good. Corpus, wind blows almost every day here, so that's a change. Great fans, great community. It's been awesome. So I was supposed to start out rained out with the rainstorm that they got, so that was unfortunate.
Oh, okay. Before you came to the Astros, was there any players you've known maybe from college or high school that was part of the Astros organization, maybe with the Hooks, that said, "Hey, Jayden, welcome to Houston"?
No, actually, I didn't know anybody coming into this. So that the guys are good. I mean, I welcomed me. I mean, I've got some good friends now, I'd say.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty tight knit group, and that has been really the constant theme with every player, whether they are Joey Luperfido down there at Fayetteville, whether it's Quincy Hamilton, who we're hopefully getting on soon, to, like I said, Jimmy Endersby. I've even talked to Corey Lee and Hunter Brown at Constellation Field, and I've never in the last 2 or 3 years that I've been on this show, been covering the Skeeters, now the Space Cowboys. I've never heard one negative comment about the clubhouse, and it seems like the Astros really take care of the way things happen. It's professional. Everybody's respected. Everybody wants the other to succeed. And it seems like a real selfless team environment in the Astros minor league system. Now, it may be like that in other leagues, or I mean, in other teams, but it's definitely evident with the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I mean, every ball for each other and everything like that. And I mean, we got a pretty good group of guys, so it's been good.
All right. With that being said, you're here at Double A. You played Triple A a little bit with the Rays. I wanted to give you a couple minutes to say thanks to all those who helped you kind of get where you are. So if you want to just kind of list out and say thank you to everybody, from your parents to all your coaches, to have helped you get you where you are.
Yeah, definitely to my parents. I mean, support me. I mean, they've been awesome. Love them. Thank you. My high school coach in the off season, he definitely helps me with that. And then both of my college coaches, Andrew Keene and Coach Fadenhauer at Dixie. I mean, those guys definitely helped me through my college them either. So I got to say thank you to that. And then my grandma and grandpa, they call me a lot, and they let me know when I do good, and they also let me know when I do bad, which is good. So it's been good.
And that's what I love to hear, because, we grew up in a time, and I'm sure you've seen this, and I'm sure you saw this when you were playing. When you get kids that are very good at what they do, you tend to have kids that are surrounded by adults that all they do is praise them. There's no criticism. It's, you're the best. You're God's gift to whatever sport there is. And I accidentally ran into Jake Meyer's parents at an Astros game and just randomly started talking to them. And I was complimenting Jake. He had had a hot start. It was this last season. And his dad was like, yeah, but he was more realistic. He was like, but Jake's got to do this, and he was your typical solid baseball parent. Like his son was in the pros, and he was still like, yeah, but he could do this and that. And he wasn't overly critical, but he was realistic, because I believe he played in the minor leagues, and so he knew how tough it was to get up there, to stay there. And so it's good, though, that you have some levity. It's good that you have someone in your life that will talk real to you, because it keeps you grounded.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, my whole family, my dad's, my uncle, you did good, yeah, but they're always going to point out the stuff that you could do better. And I mean, that's what makes you better at the end of the day. I mean, so.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm going to say this on my podcast, but when I was in high school, my coach said to a bunch of great baseball players, "I wish y'all all had the heart of Eric. He sucks, but at least he wants to play baseball, and he gets out there and he tries. And if y'all had the passion he did," and I'm like, thanks. But with that being said, I know you listed out a couple of coaches, but was there one coach? I mean, I guess you're going to say your high school coach that has really stood out most to kind of help you along the way.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely helps me out through the off season. He lets me go and practice with the high school kids, and I'll help out. From where I'm from, we get snow in the winter, so I don't really have anywhere outside I can go. So I mean, I get my brothers in to go throw and train and stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely that's for sure.
So, what are 3 things about Jayden Murray that have nothing to do with baseball?
Oh man, I love to hunt, and that's a big off-season thing for me and my family. That's like our that's our thing where we hang out a lot. 2 little brothers, we all got deer tags this year, so I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time with them with that. And I'm with the buddies, go out and on the boat and go fishing, ice fishing. So I mean, that's really the thing about me in the off season, not baseball. So
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed about baseball players is when you guys are not on the diamond, you're not talking about launch angle and velocity and spin rate. You're just being normal people. Um, my dad hunts on a deer lease like down in Zapata County, and I actually shot my first deer 3 years ago. And it was the one I had my sights set on was a decent size. There was another one that stepped in front of it, and it was spike season. We get to hunt in the last weekend of the deer hunting season because we're in the South Zone. And I said, well, I got to go ahead and take it because I think this is my last chance. And he wasn't as big as I thought he was. The guys gave me a hard time. They're like, why didn't you just put him in the backpack and walk him back to deer camp? But nonetheless, I did all the cleaning. I did all the stuff, putting them in the ice box. So that's definitely awesome that you have that connection with your family. And I know that's huge because here in Texas, that's what people do. They hunt, whether it's whether it's deer hunting, whether it's bow hunting, whatever it is. So that's really cool. I think a lot of Astros fans will like to hear that.
So what point of your, like, was it little league? Was it high school? Was it really college? Did you really feel like, oh, I think I really have a chance to really be a major leaguer someday?
I'd probably have to say my sophomore or junior year of college. I didn't throw really hard in my freshman year. Sophomore year, things kind of started to click. Coach, but I really got some interest, I guess you could say, here in junior college. Some scouts started talking to me, and I was like, okay, this could possibly happen. Got a little bit more, and I was honestly that's when it kind of clicked. It's like, okay, I got to kind of go with this, work a little bit harder, because I mean it's a goal that everybody's wanted since they were little, since I was a little kid. So I was like, I really want this to happen. So kind of hit the grind a little bit more than I probably did before, but I mean it really clicked after that junior year. I think it kind of came a reality of that could happen.
All right. So kind of follow up on that question. What was your favorite college moment or game that you can remember?
I'll probably have to say my senior year at Dixie. We were playing Colorado Christian, I believe. I actually beat the school strikeout record, and it was there to experience that. So that was fun. And then, yeah, it was just a lot of students that, and it was just something that I'll always have talk about,
So what do you think about this Texas humidity? I know down there on the coast you have a little bit of a breeze, and we're pretty close to the coast. But when it's hot, it's hot. What about this Texas heat? I mean, have you experienced this before?
Oh yeah, I mean, where I was coming from too, but I mean, Texas definitely tops that one. It's hot, it's humid. Without that breeze, you got to make sure you're drinking your water and stuff like that and stay on top of it. But I mean, it's definitely so.
Yeah. So I think that's, one last question. Was there, I know you've been in AA and then AAA for a little bit. Have you been able to work with any of the like rehabbing major leaguers or maybe during spring training and being able to pick their brains about pitches and how to throw pitches and what to do in certain situations?
So last year in AA, Brandon McKay came down. Brandon McKay. We got to talk to him for a little bit. He wasn't there for too long. I did pick his brain a little bit, and when I went up to AAA, I got to spend some time with Phoenix Sanders and on the big league roster with the Rays, and I definitely picked their brain with some stuff, and I got some very good. I appreciate them for sharing. It's been good, and it's good to always have guys around like that. Get better, learn from teammates, and if you can help a teammate, I mean, you're going to try and help them as well. So I mean, it's good.
All right, Brett.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your off day. And I mean, welcome to the Astros organization. We look forward to watching you develop. We look forward to, seeing you go out there and when it's not raining, going out there and shutting the opponent down, and just can't wait to see just how you progress with your spin rate, with your pitches, and as you learn the game. And hopefully soon, if not this year, next, I'll see you up here in Sugarland. It's literally 20 minutes from where we live, so we'll have to run over there and say hi to you, give you a little high five, and come cheer you on in person. That would be great for the Houston fans as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and for sure, I mean, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be with you to see where this goes. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited and all. So.
Which team did you grow up watching, by the way? I guess we should ask that. Which baseball team?
Red Sox were my team growing up. So.
Okay. All right.
That's okay. You can
I had
have
a
you can
feeling.
have a team other than the Astros. It's all right.
Yeah. All righty. So just remember, Big Poppy ain't here. We got Jordan Alvarez. He is the new Big Poppy. So anyway, well, Jayden, thank you for joining Locked On Astros podcast. You're welcome to come back maybe later in the season or during off season, kind of talk about how the rest of your season went, and we can talk. You and Brett can talk some more about hunting and everything. So thank you for joining, and once again, guys, thank you for subscribing to us on YouTube, and go ahead and listen to us on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and go ahead and give Jayden Murray a follow at Murray_Jayden08. And he's the next Astros pitcher to watch. And once again, thank you, Jayden. And guys, we got some great matchups coming up with the Houston Astros. So let's keep on rooting for the Astros, and go Astros. We'll see you soon.